Takeshita hits the forearm strike of the century. My God. You gotta go back to that match and look at that forearm strike. My God, he nailed his ass. The card, really. That's the
E-level, baby. Kip Sabian.
Still employed.
Taylor.
Still employed.
The Blade.
Still employed.
The Butcher.
Still employed.
Bandito.
Still employed.
Lee Moriarty.
Still employed.
Trent Beretta.
Still employed.
Keith Lee.
Still employed.
Ray Fan.
El Phantasma, Ren Narita. Narita!
If I see this man on NXT or on Raw one more motherfucking time, somebody get their ass whooped. That is enough!
Let's open radio break. Hey guys, Kgabo here, and today we're back with another episode of Life's Opening Radio Rope Break. And today we're gonna review AEW All In London. And yeah, after why am I saying after? I'm here today with my good friend Ben. Charles, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Ben. Welcome back to the show. This has been a very interesting couple of weeks, and hopefully you guys enjoy our review of AEW All In 2020. This was a way better show than Double or Nothing. I will say that right out of the gate, because I thought this was a very good show, if anything.
It was definitely better than Double or Nothing, for sure. And before we get on to that, I think maybe we should talk about Rhea Ripley. She got engaged the other day, a couple weeks ago. We're only saying that now because we're only recording now. But congratulations to her and Buddy Matthews. I hope they have a wonderful marriage, and we wish them all the best. Ben, do you have any thoughts?
Congratulations to Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews. I don't really have a lot to say, except probably that this will now lead to an angle between Rhea and Dominic, where Dominic finally gets his ass whooped by Rhea Ripley. Jesus fucking Christ. Just imagine.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
oh, man. That'll be a great angle. Money-making angle right there.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Oh, and by the way, while we're talking about Judgment Day, apparently they're having a title match at Payback, and I don't know if I'm gonna be there for that show, because I did promise everyone I was not going to do Payback until the show was like a good show.
Well.
Hold on. Yeah. There you go.
Oh. Anyways,
We're not doing proper Payback.
I don't know. I might have to, maybe with Josh, or I don't know. If he feels better come that time. By the way, Josh is a bit under the weather right now. He's feeling a little sick. And it's been quite bad the past few days, that to the point where he's not even online. He only messaged me earlier this morning that his ears are fine. He had an ear infection or something. He was kind of half deaf, but it's better now, which is good. Now what? I don't know.
What's wrong?
He says he's gonna be offline for the next couple of days. But yeah, I'm just glad he's alright. And yeah, that's why we haven't really heard from him. The last thing he posted was today. He said, "Good morning," as he would usually do every day. But yeah, he hasn't really been around the past few days. But anyways, yeah. Let's move on to the next topic.
Get well soon, Josh.
Yeah, get well soon, Josh. There's backstage drama apparently in AEW. There was some kind of tension between CM Punk and Jungle Boy, and they were fighting for some reason. I think now I can't remember what they. Jungle Boy wanted to do something, but CM Punk said no, and then Jungle Boy did it anyway. I can't remember what it was. Ben, maybe could you elaborate on the events of that, please?
Well, I will try my best to, even though these two men should not be fucking fighting. That's what I do know. There's multiple conflicting reports about this. One said Jack Perry was choked out by CM Punk, and then Miro and Luchasaurus got involved. And then there was another report where Punk and Jack Perry just had a stare down, and then CM Punk kind of yelled at him and stuff like that. There's multiple conflicting reports about this shit. And I'll be quite honest with all of you. I don't care about this shit at all, because this is another way of CM Punk literally taking over everything else that involved All In. Like, this was his way of saying, hey, fuck this show. I'm the star of this show, and I'm the face of this company. That's exactly what I'm getting out of this. And apparently, Punk and Jack Perry are going to be suspended. I think. I'm not too sure. I need to make sure what I need to make sure this way I understand what the hell is going on. I do know one thing. This is fucking retarded. This is stupid. I don't mean to be crazy here, but it's just so stupid. Why are you fighting, though? There's no reason for these two men to even have a confrontation between, like, legit another man and then another person who, by the way, they're both holding championships.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy lost his on the pre-show.
Oh, man.
But I do know one thing. It's just so stupid.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's just stupid. Just so stupid.
Anyways, speaking of CM Punk, let's now move on to AEW All In London, which took place on Sunday, the 27th of August 2023 at the Wembley Stadium in London, England. Yeah, and now here's the first match for the Rio World Championship. CM Punk, the champion, versus Ring of Honor TV champion Samoa Joe. This say what you will, champion versus champion, but whatever. They started the match. They locked up. CM Punk did a chop. He did a chop again. Joe missed some chops. Punk put in a side headlock. Joe did a back suplex, but Punk still had the side headlock in. He left the ring, Joe did, and he did an open hand chop. CM Punk got back in the ring. He went for Joe as he went back in the ring, but then Joe threw some jabs. He threw some chops, and then Punk was balancing on the ropes. Yeah, I think Samoa Joe was chopping him, and then Punk would go like, ugh, on the ropes, ugh, and rocking back and forth on the ropes. I think that's what happens. CM Punk did a kick. He did a Hurricane Runner, which threw Samoa Joe out the ring. He missed a plancha, which was a reference to his Ring of Honor match that they had all the way back 20 years ago. Samoa Joe made CM Punk miss that splash, that famous spot. I don't know when exactly it was. I think it was 20 years ago. But then they fought on at ringside. Samoa Joe started ole, 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 ole. He started those chants. He got sent to the ring post. CM Punk went for the Hurricane Runner. Joe catched him. Then he slammed him into the bottom of the announce desk. The little thing in front, it caved in as CM Punk was thrown against it. And then Punk was busted open by that impact. Samoa Joe threw some strikes. They got back in the ring. He threw some more strikes. Punk now threw some strikes. Samoa Joe did a back elbow. He went for the pin, got a 1 count. He did chops and a headbutt. CM Punk made a brief comeback. Joe shot him into the corner, and then he did an uppercut and a spinning enziguri, which was cool. I think the people are chanting "Joe sucks" and then something else. It's a UK crowd, so I never really understand what they chant sometimes. CM Punk threw a punch and a kick. Joe did a atomic drop. He did a high boot and a senton for a 2 count. He threw some chops in the corner. He went for the muscle buster, but Punk escaped. Punk did a roundhouse kick. They laid down selling. Punk did some jumping shoulder tackles like John Cena would do, and he did a sidewalk slam. Then he teased a 5-knuckle shuffle, but then he did a leg drop for a 1 count. He threw some strikes, and then Samoa Joe did a clean-ass scoop slam for a 2 count. He went for the Jujikatami, but Punk got a pin escape. Punk went for the jumping knee, but then Joe countered with a power bomb for a 2 count. Joe put in the STF. Punk got a pin escape. He did a roundhouse kick, put in a spinning toe hold, but then Samoa Joe escaped, and that was a homage to Terry Funk, who died in the same week that Bray Wyatt died. So rest in peace to him. CM Punk went for the jumping knee, but then Joe countered with a Uranagi. That was nice. I remember that. Joe went for the muscle buster again, but Punk fought out of it. Joe threw a chop, and then Punk fell to the apron. They were both on the apron. CM Punk bit Joe. He did an avalanche Pepsi plunge for the win. I thought this was a decent match and a nice opener. And then CM Punk hugged the fan with trans rights or human rights, which was cool of him to do. So then I gave this match Wrestling a 7, Logic a 6. What did you think about this match, Ben?
I thought this was a good match. Now hold on. Some people are gonna say the Pepsi plunge, the finish looks sloppy. Some people will say that. Now, Samoa Joe is a 320-pound man. I get it. I know why some of you are saying that. The fact of the matter is, CM Punk got a win in Wembley. No big deal. He was not gonna lose the belt, even if it's though the real World Championship. They're still playing with that angle or whatever the case may be. But I will say this though, this was a pretty good opener. I thought this was not better than their Owen Hart match though. I thought that like their Owen Hart Cup match was a lot better than this match, to be honest with you. But I think this match served its purpose. It filled in some time. CM Punk got a win on this show. It did exactly what it needed to do. And the best part was Samoa Joe did not look weak when he lost this match. He didn't look weak. He didn't look like unimportant. He felt like a star under this opening match, which is exactly what the fuck Samoa Joe should be, a fucking star. A lot of people are discrediting Samoa Joe. Why? Samoa Joe's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and now all of a sudden people are discrediting this. What the fuck is going on with the wrestling community? we're hating on Samoa Joe for no reason. Like, why? It's stupid because Samoa Joe actually put on a very solid match on this solid match on this show. Pardon me, I'm talking a little bit too fast, but I thought this was a solid match. I gave this a 6. Logic, I gave it probably about a 5. I'll give it a 5. That's fair.
Yeah, that's
good match.
That's fair. That's fair. And now to the next match. This is, I think, a 6-man tag between the Golden Elite, consisting of Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi, and Bullet Club Gold, consisting of Jay White, Konosuke Takeshita, and Juice Robinson, still employed, with Don Callis, still employed, and the Guns, Colten, still employed, and Austin, still employed. Juice Robinson and Hangman started the match. And by the way, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, Ben, I should have told you this already, but we're going to introduce the rope break ledger. We're going to start finding people for goofy stuff that they do on the show. And yeah, I look forward to that. I can't believe I forgot that. But yeah, I think this match alone we're gonna have some fines. Already we're gonna give Don Callis $50 fine for just being at the ringside. So Ben, write that down, please.
Yeah, doing it right now. Go ahead.
Okay then. Juice Robinson and Hangman Page start the match. They lock up. Hangman did a shoulder tackle. He did a big boot. Kenny Omega made a tag. They did a double team on Juice Robinson. Omega and Hangman chop Juice Robinson. And Ben, you sent me this clip. And you said, oh, this is, I think, a sneak peek of what we want to do to Juice Robinson. And I said, hey, yo, pause. I don't know what specifically you're trying to do to Juice Robinson. But yeah.
Hey, yo. Whoa, yo. Okay, first of all, pause for mentioning that to me, number one. Number two, that's a fine. Juice Robinson, by the way, he grabbed his chest, like I think he twisted his
nipple.
Should I say it on this show? I don't want to sound crazy, but he twisted a part of his chest as like he was selling the chops and stuff, and I was like, pause. Yo, I was not having it. And by the way, Juice Robinson, another fine for Juice Robinson. Because, number one, he did that.
How much?
That's 2 in a row. $100.
Okay, well, yeah. Juice Robinson owes $150. No, $100. Sorry. Anyways, and by the way, Rick Knox was the referee in this match. By his existence alone, $50 fine. Write that down. And he didn't. There were 2 men in the ring for more than 10 seconds, both chopping Juice Robinson. So that's another $50 fine. $100 fine for Rick Knox there. Write that down, Ben.
Go ahead.
Omega put in a wrist lock. Kota Ibushi made a tag. Jay White made a tag. They locked up. Rope break. Jay White shoulder tackled Kota Ibushi. Jay White threw some punches. No effect. I think maybe Kenny Omega did that shoulder tackle. No. It can't be Kenny Omega. It's got to be someone else. But anyways, Kota Ibushi threw a kick.
It was Jay White. Yeah. It was Jay White who did the shoulder tackle. I don't mean to get.
Okay. Kota Ibushi threw the kick. He knocked down Jay White. He did it again. Kenny Omega tagged back in, and then Kota kicked Jay White, and then Kenny Omega did that bulldog that he does, that jumping dunk thing that they like to call it. Takeshita is illegally in the ring, $50. Write that down, Ben. Kenny Omega, Hurricane Rana, Takeshita out the ring. He made the crowd do Terminator claps, and then he did that whole thing. Then he did a dive on Takeshita and Jay White. They got back in the ring. The Guns tried to interfere. $50 each for both of them, the Guns, for trying to interfere. Kenny Omega missed a top rope move. Jay White did some stomps. He pounded Kenny Omega. Juice Robinson tagged. He and Jay White stomped Kenny Omega. Takeshita made a tag. He pounded Kenny Omega. Kota interferes, $50. A matter of fact, I'm being too harsh. $20 for Kota Ibushi. For that. He gets up in Takeshita's face. They have a 1-2. And then Jay White and Juice go after Kota. Chaos. And there's no order. So $100 fine for Rick Knox, please. Kenny Omega makes a brief comeback. Takeshita did a forearm. He hit the ropes. And then he hit a nice jumping elbow, which was very nice, if I didn't mention already, even though I did mention. Jay White made a tag. He put in a side headlock on Kenny Omega. They replayed Takeshita's jumping elbow. He got a rope break. Jay White did some mock slaps and kicks. He did a dragon screw. Juice Robinson made a tag. He went for the legs. He did a snap suplex for a 2 count. They had a 1-2. He threw some jabs and then threw a big punch. He did a senton for a 2 count. Kenny Omega did a suplex. He's desperate to tag. He almost tagged in Hangman, but the Guns yanked him and Ibushi off the apron. Hangman made a warm tag after that. He did a jumping clothesline off the top rope to Jay White for a 2 count. They replayed that spot. He went for Deadeye, but Jay White escaped. Kota Ibushi made a blind tag. He kicked Jay White. He did a standing moonsault. He went for the pin. Takeshita made the save. And then Kenny Omega came to Kota Ibushi's aid. $20 for that. Kenny Omega and Ibushi did simultaneous moonsaults to Jay White and Juice Robinson. The people chanted "Golden Lovers." The Golden Elite jumped Jay White. Kota did a half and half suplex for a near fall. Jay White went for the Blade Runner and missed. Kota Ibushi did a knee. Jay White did a Uranagi. Takeshita and Omega simultaneously tagged in. They had a 1-2. Kenny Omega did a V-trigger. He did a Snapdragon on Juice and Jay White. Takeshita did a Blue Thunder Bomb on Kenny Omega for a near fall. Kenny Omega counted the power drive knee. I don't know what I meant there by kill. Omega did a chop and then a V-trigger. He did a Poison Rana for a 2 count. Omega goes for a top rope move, but then Juice dragged him down. Hangman made a blind tag. Kenny did a fireman's carry roll. He held the guy in the fireman's carry, then rolled forward and dropped him there on the floor with his back to the canvas. And then Hangman did a standing shooting star press on him. And then he did an avalanche Spanish fly for a near fall. He went for the buckshot lariats, but the Guns distracted him. He did a Orihara moonsault on the Guns. He went for the buckshot lariat again, but then Jay White saved Takeshita. Jay White did a half and half suplex. Kota Ibushi did a knee to Jay White. Juice Robinson did a leg lariat to Kota Ibushi. Kenny Omega did a dunk on Juice Robinson. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi went for the golden trigger, but then Takeshita fought out of it. Kota Ibushi went for Kamagoye on Takeshita, but then Takeshita countered with a jumping knee. Hangman did a buckshot lariat, from behind. Kenny Omega made a tag. Jay White tried to save Takeshita. He did a V trigger. He did another one on. I think I meant to say Kenny Omega did the V trigger because that's his move. He did another one on Juice Robinson and another one on Jay White. And then Takeshita did a roll up for the win. I don't know what to think about that, but regardless, I still think this is a good match. I wrote there 7.5, but I think I'm gonna give it I think I'm gonna be nice and give it an 8 out of 10 for wrestling, and Logic a 7. This was probably the second best match of the night. Ben, before you give your thoughts, can you please read us the fines, if you can?
Oh, God. All right. All right, here are the fines for all the people involved in this goddamn match. The Guns got a $200 fine. Juice Robinson, $200. Rick Knox, $350. He was fucking awful in the fucking match. Awful. Rick Knox, get off television. Kota Ibushi got a $40 fine. Jay White got a $20 fine because Jay White got a he did something in the match and I forgot how I think he did something to Hangman and Rick Knox, and apparently he wasn't even the legal man, so I think that's why I did that. So I gave him a fine for that because he was not the legal man. He was just attacking people left and right. So that's a fair fine.
Yeah.
Rick Knox sucks. Fucking miserable Rick Knox.
Yeah, I think I gave Don Callis 100 and I think I gave Don Callis 100 for just being there. Don Callis, get off my TV. And he was in another match on this card. Yeah. Yeah,
it was fucking and he wasn't involved in that other match either, but he was involved in the other match.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know, man. Look, Takeshita won the match. Good on him. I mean, Kenny Omega and Takeshita is happening at All Out.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna review on this.
Yeah.
We're gonna review on this show. But I will say this though, however. We need to change Takeshita's theme song. Change this man's theme. This man's theme is.
Oh yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a mosquito. It's like a fucking
mosquito.
Come on, take this thing through the song, son. Come on, bro.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. It's literally one note, everybody. I'm not making this up. This man goes.
Oh. Anyways, yeah. Ben, how? Okay, 7.5 in Logic. Okay, 4. Okay.
I'll give it a 2. No, I'll give it a 2.
Oh.
There was a lot of bullshit involving Rick Knox. Rick Knox allowed way too much offense to the Bullet Club, though. Way too much.
Yeah. Ben, how good are your notes?
Really good.
Like for the actual show though, because I may or may not.
Yeah, I got a lot of notes.
Yeah, I need you to review this next match for me because I didn't take notes for this match, but I did watch it. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR consisting of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, the champions versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and this is, I think, their third bout because they had a match at what was it? I think they had a match at Double or Nothing 2020, Full Gear 2020, and now here in All In. What or what?
Okay, hold on. Whoa. Hold on. So they had a match. Their first match was Full Gear, and then they had another match in They had one this year on Dynamite in Boston. That was their second match. Yeah, and then this match.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
There
yeah.
you go.
Oh man.
All right.
I remember
got some notes here.
I remember I reviewed their match at Full Gear 2020. It was so cringe.
Well, you're not gonna like some of the spots in this match. I can tell you that right now. All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your referee for this match was Rick Knox.
$100 fine just for that.
Write that down right now. Actually, he's getting another fine because Young Bucks got a lot of offense in this match. Another $100 fine, Rick Knox.
Damn.
He's fucking awful. FTR versus the Young Bucks. All right, we're going to begin the match. I'm going to stop yelling for a second. So, Dax Harwood and Nick Jackson, they begin the match. Pretty even playing field between the two guys. They're not really doing much, just chain wrestling and stuff like that. Cash Wheeler comes in, and by the way, Cash Wheeler, little road rage incident.
Yeah. I saw that. That was crazy.
Yeah. And someone said, by the way, on Twitter, said, "Fear the revolver." Someone said,
there was a sign in the crowd on the show as well that said "Fear the revolver."
Look, no, we're not making jokes. That's someone else on Twitter. That's not us. We like.
Yeah. That's just weird. That what happened there, but we still like Cash Wheeler.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Cash Wheeler, he hits a headlock, and Nick Jackson does a slam, and Nick Jackson, they try to get some offense on FTR, but FTR takes him down. Cash Wheeler takes him down. Dax Harwood does a leg drop, and then 3 times in the match, I actually counted, by the way, there were 3 times where both teams entered the ring and no one did anything about it. Rick Knox is automatically getting another $100 fine. That's enough.
Damn.
This man is the worst referee in the history of civilization. I cannot stand Rick Knox. Get this man off my television. If I even see another referee like Rick Knox, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't take it anymore. Rick Knox is fucking awful. I can't take it. It's hard to review a match if Rick Knox is this bad. It's hard. It's really hard.
Damn.
Jesus, God Almighty, I can't do that. All right. So anyway, double clothesline. They take both teams are down. So the Bucks take FTR to the outside. They hit a spear on, I believe, was it Dax Harwood? Yeah, it was Cash Wheeler. It was Cash Wheeler who was the legal man. And then they did their super kicks and stuff like that. They did Young Bucks gymnastics, as Kgabo would point out. So they hit a super kick. They hit a swanton into Cash Wheeler for a 2 count. Then they pretty much do Bret Hart's moveset. They did a backbreaker, the middle rope elbow drop stuff, and Cash Wheeler, he takes some Young Bucks offense as usual, but he manages to take a suplex, and finally they're trying to make a tag. Cash Wheeler's trying to make a tag to Dax Harwood, but again, Young Bucks are trying to prevent him. So Cash Wheeler, he not only fights off the Young Bucks, he tags in Dax Harwood for the hot tag. Nick Jackson is suplexed on Matt Jackson, and then Dax Harwood did 5 German suplexes, like in a 2-minute time frame. That's exactly what I wrote. But Matt Jackson does the rolling Northern Lights suplexes that he does. So he did probably about 6 of them, like
that like they were just suplexing each other literally for like minutes at a time. I thought it was cool. So Matt Jackson, he goes for a cover, but a 2 count. Nick Jackson comes back in with a knee to Dax Harwood, but Dax Harwood counters into a slingshot sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count, which was cool. Both men, Nick and Matt Jackson, they're both in sharpshooters. That's exactly what I wrote. What the hell has happened? Hold on, my notes get a little bit cloudy after this point. Everybody, hold on. Let me write this down. So, Nick Jackson superflexed Dax Harwood. So yeah, okay, all right. So Nick Jackson superflexed Dax Harwood. Both top rope splashes and stuff like that, but the both men's knees were up, and pretty much like, let's say if Cash was going for a splash, he was going to hit Nick Jackson, so he got his knees up, and then Matt Jackson was going to hit Dax Harwood with a splash, but he got his knees up as well, did Dax Harwood. So FTR does a spike pile driver that gets a 2 count on Nick Jackson. Dax Harwood does a cradle for a 2 count as well. They both hit the Shatter Machine. Oh, excuse me. They tried for the Shatter Machine. They actually called it the Shatter Machine this time. It's no longer the big rig all of a sudden. It's the Shatter Machine again, which is good. FTR, they tried for another move, but Nick Jackson does a backslide for a 2 count. The Bucks hit their own spike pile driver, which did not look good, by the way. That gets another 2 count. Meltzer driver is broken up by FTR. Matt Jackson, they re-hit Dax Harwood for a 2 count as Nick Jackson, he dives onto Cash Wheeler on the outside. Both men go for the BTE trigger. Cash Wheeler moves out of the way. Cash Wheeler then hits a spear to Matt Jackson on the floor on the outside, which was that was a very cool spot in my honest opinion. That was a very cool spot. So anyway, to pretty much, this is the finish of the match, everybody. FTR hit their own BTE trigger into the Shatter Machine for a 2 count on Matt Jackson. Cash Wheeler goes for another 450, and that was the same move they did at Full Gear, which Kgabo does not like at all.
What is this now? Sorry, I
No,
wasn't.
he doesn't like that. No, it's okay. This is the finish of the match. I was mentioning that you did not like that 450 spot at Full Gear 2020. I was mentioning that.
Well, okay, I probably don't remember.
Yeah, they did the 450 in this match, and that's why I said that.
I don't remember not
let's
liking
move on. But all you need
450s,
to know-
but whatever.
All right. Sorry. Anyway, BTE trigger. It finally hits. The Young Bucks hit the BTE trigger on Dax Harwood. No, Cash Wheeler. Sorry, I'm confusing both men now. BTE trigger by the Young Bucks on Cash Wheeler. Dax Harwood makes to save. Dax Harwood, he gets up. He beats up Matt and Nick Jackson. But then Matt and Nick Jackson, they try to springboard diving nothing. They run right into the Shatter Machine. Then they hit another BTE trigger for another 2 count. Meltzer driver by the Young Bucks. They go for another Meltzer driver. It is broken up again by FTR, and then FTR hit another Shatter Machine. So it took literally 2 Shatter Machines to beat the Young Bucks here.
Yeah.
FTR retained
I didn't like
the World
that.
Tag Yeah. FTR retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and rightfully so. They did not need to lose against the Young Bucks. And I called this months ago when I said, literally in one of the reviews that we did for another show, I literally called this out. I said FTR does not need to lose the tag team titles. They are way too good to lose the tag team titles to the Young Bucks again. That's just ridiculous. But I'm glad they won here, and I thought this was a pretty good match. This was not better than their last match that they had on Dynamite, though. But I thought this match was pretty good, and it was what it was. And this match, by the way, went 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, rating for this match, I gave 8.5. Logic, probably a 5.
Okay. Yeah. I think one thing I did like in this match, was that Cash Wheeler spine busted Matt Jackson in midair, which was cool. They had a 2-4 in the ring. As Ben mentioned, both teams were in the ring at the same time, and I didn't like that. So they've already been fined for that. I think the match was a bit too choreographed at times. They were kicking out of each other's finishes and then using each other's finishes and not even winning. So this match was generally just meh, in my opinion. I gave Ration a 6 and Logic a 4. And this next match, Stadium Stampede match. The Blackpool Combat Club. You know who that stands out of. Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Moxley, all those guys. And Santana Ortiz, welcome back finally. Versus Chuck Taylor, still employed. Trent Beretta, still employed. AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, still employed. Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo, still employed. Wrestling 0, Logic 0. Ben, what are your thoughts?
I'm surprised you give this a 0 rating. Yes, this match felt a little bit too long. Okay, I will admit this to all of you. This match was long, but I enjoyed some of the action. Like, at least, they're fighting each other all around Wembley Stadium. I at least enjoyed some of the things that was going on, and then I feel like the finish was a little bit too. I feel like it was rushed, though. I don't know. Like, I feel like the finish should have been better. And it was Orange Cassidy. If you guys don't remember the finish, I'm going to tell you the finish. Orange Cassidy hit Claudio with the orange punch. It was supposed to have broken glass with the orange punch, but instead he just did a normal orange punch. So literally, it took 4 orange punches to beat Claudio Castagnoli. 4. I'm not making this up. Then Orange Cassidy beats Claudio, and the Blackpool Combat Club take another loss on this show.
Yeah, that I didn't like that. I didn't like that Blackpool Combat Club lost to freaking best friends and Orange Cassidy of all people. By the way, I still can't believe they're in chaos. But the last thing they need is to lose on this pay-per-view at all on any AEW media. But yeah, I'm not bothered to watch anything Orange Cassidy. I might watch his match with Moxley at All Out, which I hope John Moxley beats the shit out of Orange Cassidy and wins that international belt. He's had it for more than long enough, almost a year now. So it's about time he loses that belt. Anyways, let's just move on to the next match because I'm not bothered with this. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Hikaru Shida, the champion, versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Saraya versus Toni Storm. Saraya and Toni go after Britt and Shida. They double suplex Shida. Britt Baker makes a comeback on Saraya and Toni. She does a neck breaker on Saraya, and then she made Saraya DDT Toni Storm. She went for the pin, got a 2 count, and got a cheap pop. Toni beat down on Britt Baker. Saraya did an assisted jumping knee in the corner. Toni did a hip attack, get your mind out of the gutter. Saraya and Toni Storm both tried to pin Britt Baker, and they argued over who should pin Britt Baker. And then Shida made a comeback on Toni and Saraya. She punched Toni in the corner. And honestly, I'm sorry, but those were some weak ass punches. I'm sorry, I gotta say that right now. Saraya threw Shida onto the apron, which was quite nasty. Britt Baker knocked Saraya off the apron. Tony did a hip attack on Shida, and which knocked her off the apron. Britt Baker did a sling blade on Toni Storm. Saraya super kicked Britt Baker. Tony handed Britt Baker to what? Oh, to Saraya's mom, who was in the crowd, and then Saraya's mom put in a full Nelson on Britt Baker, and then Toni Storm accidentally rocked Saraya's mom, and she was pissed, and so was Saraya. She threw Britt Baker into the barricade in anger, and then she big booted Shida and then threw her into the steel steps. They got back in the ring. She shouted at Toni Storm. She grabbed her by the hair and punched her. They had a 1-2. Toni beat down on Saraya. She exposed the bottom turnbuckle. She tried to grind Saraya's head against it, but then Ruby Soho rushed to the ring to stop her. Toni punched her, and Ruby walked away. Saraya thrust kicked Toni. Shida did a missile drop kick on Saraya. Britt Baker did a neck break on Hikaru Shida. Toni Storm did a thrust kick on Britt Baker, and then Britt Baker thrust kicked Toni back. Then she fell on top of Saraya on accident and almost pinned her, and then Saraya was like, "What's your problem?" Saraya puts in some kind of submission on Toni. It looked like kind of a game over, but not completely, because she was doing something with the legs as well. And Britt,
it was the old PTO. It was the old PTO move by Saraya here. It was the old PTO move. You remember that from WWE?
Well, I never watched many matches of her in WWE, so I wouldn't know. So thank you, Ben, for clarifying that for me. I'll write that down right now as for future reference. Britt Baker broke up the hold with the stomps. She punched Saraya. She went for the pin on Toni, got a near fall. They replayed that spot. She took out the glove with which she would do the lockjaw. Shida hammered Britt. She did an elbow strike on Saraya. She did an inverted fireman's carry. I think that's actually a rack, a torture rack, which is what I meant to say, but I couldn't think of it at the time. She dropped Saraya to deal with Britt Baker. She did a Falcon Arrow on Britt on top of Saraya, and she did a Meteora on Saraya for a near fall. She did a Katana kick on Saraya, went for the pin, but then Britt...
All right, everyone. Kgabo decided to take a drink of water, but yes, I'm going to review the rest of this women's match. I wrote down in my notes for the finish of the match, which I left off on where Hikaru Shida hit the Katana kick for a 2 count on Saraya. Britt Baker makes the save. Britt Baker then attacks Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida is in the lockjaw, but the lockjaw gets blocked by Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida is fighting her ass off, literally trying to block her hand, literally everything like that. Hikaru Shida blocks the lockjaw, but Britt Baker still has her in the hold, but it's not the lockjaw. Saraya then comes in. She uses the green spray paint on Toni Storm. She blinds Toni Storm. She hits the nightcap DDT for the win. 1, 2, 3 at 8 minutes and 49 seconds. I thought this match was a pretty solid match. I see why this match was after Stadium Stampede, but at the end of the day, I'm glad this match got Saraya a big win, even though Saraya has wrestled only, one match ever since coming to AEW, like even fighting for the women's title. I see why she was even in the tournament, to be fair. Like, Saraya wrestled Sky Blue to get into the 4-way anyway, so I see why it happened. So I'm not mad Saraya won, but once again, we are hot potatoing the AEW Women's World Title. Toni Storm should have held the belt. I don't see why Toni Storm held the belt from Double or Nothing. Then Hikaru Shida won it on a random edition of Dynamite that no one really watched, no one really cared about, and it was the main event of the show, which I did appreciate. It was the main event of the show, but Again, Toni Storm should have not lost that championship if we were going to give the belt to Saraya either way. I gave this match a 6, and Logic, I gave it a 5 for this. I thought Saraya winning here was a good moment, a good feel-good story, and Saraya's Women's World Champion. I'm interested to see where they go with this match. Kgabo thought that this match was also a decent match, and that he is very appreciative of Saraya winning the AEW Women's World Championship, and that he is interested in Saraya's title reign now, considering Saraya is world champion now. So, and also Kgabo also said that he also pretty much agreed with me on my statement saying that Toni Storm should have not lost the belt if Saraya was going to win here at All In Wembley. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. So there you go.
This episode of Rope Break is interrupted to advertise Life's Open Radio certified bangers, a roller coaster of music consisting of drum and bass, indie pop, pop and R&B, soundtracks, and anything else that comes to Kgabo's mind, as well as world news and special guests. You can listen to Life's Opening Radio certified bangers every Sunday afternoon on Spotify. Back to your regular scheduled programming.
Alright, our next match, the coffin match. Oh boy, this next match. Sting and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland. Christian Cage coming out with the TNT title. That is not his. It is Luchasaurus' TNT title. Luchasaurus will fight Darby Allin at All Out, which we will review on this show. So, Christian Cage coming out with the TNT title is getting a fine. Swerve Strickland having a miserable rapper. His name was Flash Garments, if I'm not mistaken. When he did his rap at All In Wembley, the crowd was about as silent as legitimately a tennis event. Seriously, like a tennis event, this man's rap was about as silent and as painfully boring to watch. Just even listening to this man's rap. So, Flash Garments, whatever your name is, you're getting a $50 fine on behalf of everyone here on Life's Opening Radio Rope Break. $50 fine. Swerve Strickland getting buried. Another $50 fine because I don't know what the hell he was wearing tonight. Swerve Strickland, another fine. There you go. Anyway, coffin match between Sting and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland. So, you guys know how I feel about Sting and Darby Allin. I'm not mad that this was a tag team match. I'm not mad at this match at all. I'm just mad at the way that they booked Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Like, Christian Cage tied Darby Allin's hands together behind his back, but Darby Allin can still kick his ass with his feet, and he hit a moonsault with his hands tied behind his back. Then he hit a suicide dive onto Christian Cage. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, Swerve takes out Darby Allin, but Darby Allin's hands gets free and he beats the hell out of Swerve. Sting puts Swerve onto a table. The first time Sting goes for a leg drop, the table doesn't even break, but the second time it does, so the table actually breaks. And Sting takes away Swerve Strickland for now. Darby Allin puts Christian in a chair, and then he missile drop kicks him while Christian is sitting out on the chair. So they try to close Christian Cage into the coffin. Luchasaurus makes the save. Nick Wayne comes after him. Nick Wayne is... I like Nick Wayne as a person. I like him as a person and as a wrestler. But Nick Wayne did not need to come out for this match. Like, I don't feel like he should have came out at all. That was ridiculous. Like, this was low-key overbooked, in my honest opinion. So anyway, Darby Allin hits a coffin drop onto Swerve, onto the coffin. But no, he goes for a coffin drop, but Swerve moves out of the way, and Darby Allin lands right back first on the coffin. And Sting gets a Scorpion Deathlock on Christian Cage. Swerve Strickland hits him with a chair. Sting beats his ass. Christian Cage breaks it up with a cricket bat, and he also hit a low blow to Sting. And then Sting gets hit with a Swerve Stomp by Swerve Strickland. So Sting is about to be put in the coffin, but Sting uses his baseball bat to keep the lid open. Darby Allin then comes back in. He hits Christian Cage with the TNT title. And he also beats up Swerve. Sting, Scorpion Death drops Swerve Strickland onto the coffin. And then Darby Allin hits a coffin drop on Swerve Strickland for the win at 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, this match is getting a no rating. Immediate no rating because number one, this did not need to be on the show. Number two, this sucked. And number three, Swerve Strickland got buried figuratively and literally. I don't know what the fuck are we doing with Swerve Strickland. Why is Swerve Strickland being treated like garbage in AEW? This man is way too good to literally lose to Darby Allin and Sting. Like, seriously, he's way too good. Swerve should have been fighting Keith Lee. I don't know why they didn't fight literally after Revolution. Sting and Darby Allin has nothing to do with this. Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee should have been a match of Double or Nothing, but again, it didn't happen. It just did not happen. I don't know why, but it just didn't happen. At least I would have gave Swerve a win in that case. But anyway, no rating for this match. I just didn't care about this match at all. I'm serious. I just didn't care. Kgabo thought that this match was also a decent match for what it was. He necessarily did not care about this match whatsoever. So Kgabo actually gave this a 4, a rating of a 4 and logic of 4. He thought this was a decent match, to say the least. So anyway, that's our opinions on that coffin match. And then this next match was the best thing probably on the entire show, except the main event and the tag team title match between FTR and the Young Bucks. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. By the way, Will Ospreay's IWGP United Kingdom Championship is not on the line. Kgabo did mention that in a rough draft of this recording. But instead, Will Ospreay just did not defend the IWGP United Kingdom Championship. And I actually did not mind Will Ospreay not defending the belt because that's not what's on the line. Plus, the match does not really ask for that match, for the title to be on the line. I mean, I understand where Kgabo's coming from, but, you know, it's cool. It's fine. I mean, it was a dream match anyway. I mean, it doesn't need to have a title, so. Anyway, Chris Jericho came out. He performed Judas, which was awesome. He had a very, Judas was on top of the stage, and it was great. They performed Judas. The crowd sung his song. Chris Jericho with Sammy Guevara in tow, who is still employed. Don Callis came out with Will Ospreay, who is still employed. And by the way, I still don't know why Don Callis is associated with Will Ospreay, considering Will Ospreay has a whole United Empire he has to worry about. Unless he's a babyface. Because he was a babyface in this match. So, I don't know. Anyway, Don Callis, $100 fine. So that would make Don Callis a $250 fine for the entire show. Don Callis is getting fined $250. Sammy Guevara is getting fined $200 because, number one, he hit Will Ospreay with a baseball bat behind the referee's back, which I was actually getting so ready to give it a no rating because Sammy Guevara did not need to hit Will Ospreay with a baseball bat. So anyway, the opening of the match, Will Ospreay, he starts off quickly. He beats up Chris Jericho. He hits a Sky Twister press on Chris Jericho. He hit 2 of them, as a matter of fact. They go back inside the ring. Jericho and Will Ospreay beat up each other with forearms and chops. And Jericho then sends him onto the floor. Jericho hits a triangle drop kick and then a baseball slide drop kick to Will Ospreay. Ospreay then fights back. He hits a German suplex Jericho dropped Will Ospreay with a German suplex onto the apron, which, by the way, looked great. And then Jericho hit a normal delayed vertical suplex back inside the ring. So there we go. Jericho then flips off the crowd, which, people booed him for that, by the way. The people who sung his own song, he flipped them off because priorities, everybody. So Jericho goes for a lion salt. Ospreay gets his knees up. Ospreay actually goes for a Hurricane Rana, but Jericho counters into a Hurricane Rana, which, by the way, looked awesome, but it got a 2 count. Ospreay then drapes Chris Jericho over the top rope. Ospreay does a shooting star press to the back, and it gets a 2 count. Ospreay goes for an Oz cutter, but Jericho countered, moved out of the way. And then after a couple of minutes of more action, Jericho hits a code breaker on Ospreay for a 2 count. Ospreay then comes right back after a minute with an Oz cutter he hit 2 Oz cutters. One of them did not look good. Jericho tried for an Oz cutter, which also did not look good, but it was cool. And then Will Ospreay just beat his ass for a little bit. Ospreay goes for the Stormbreaker. Jericho counters it into the walls. Ospreay gets hit with the baseball bat by Sammy Guevara, which Sammy Guevara got fined for that, which we already mentioned at the top of this matchup. Will Ospreay then slips out of the walls Jericho, and then Ospreay does a handspring corkscrew kick. He did a handspring corkscrew kick at one point in the match, which I thought was pretty cool. It was just it's a pretty cool move every time Will Ospreay does that. So Will Ospreay does a Spanish fly for a 2 count. Jericho and Ospreay, I believe they bumped heads at one point. I'm not too sure. I actually wrote down in my notes. I think they bumped heads or they bumped into each other. But anyway, Will Ospreay gets fired up. Will Ospreay does his usual stuff. He tries for a Stormbreaker, which he actually does hit, but Chris Jericho kicks out at 2. So literally, the Stormbreaker, after teasing it literally for like another 5 minutes, Chris Jericho kicks out of the Stormbreaker, which Kgabo did have a problem with. Ospreay goes for the Hidden Blade, but it wasn't really a Hidden Blade. It was more of a Judas effect than a Hidden Blade, but Will Ospreay hit his elbow, and then Ospreay transitions that into another Stormbreaker, which finally wins his match against Chris Jericho. The crowd is happy. Everyone in Wembley popped big time for this big-time win for Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay wins against Chris Jericho, and there you go, everybody. I gave this match an 8, and Logic, I give it a 6. Kgabo also gave it a 8, and Logic a 6 as well. He thought this was a good match as well. So, anyway, after the match, Kgabo did not mention this at first, but I will here. So, Sammy Guevara was trying to console Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho pushed him away, and then Chris Jericho obviously is upset. He does not want to do anything with Sammy Guevara. So on Dynamite, Sammy Guevara confronts him about it. And now, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho are going to be fighting for the tag team titles now, which I'm not interested in at all because Chris Jericho does not really need Sammy Guevara unless Sammy Guevara wants to be in the Callis family. But other than that, I'm not interested in this at all. Like, I get why Chris Jericho is fighting for the tag team titles, but once again, this should have not been any kind of... There's no real legit reason why. I mean, they had a good segment on Dynamite, but there's no legit reason why Jericho should be fighting for the tag team titles when they're not going to win the tag team titles no way, shape, or form. Nigel McGuinness comes out. Nigel McGuinness, who was on commentary, and by the way, Nigel McGuinness needs to get flowers from now on. He was brilliant on commentary. Nigel McGuinness needs to commentate on AEW Dynamite from now on. I'm tired of this man being on Collision. Put this man on Dynamite. He is way too good to not be on Dynamite. Put this man on Dynamite. He can be with Taz. It can be Excalibur, Nigel McGuinness, and Taz. on commentary the rest of the show, with Tony Schiavone coming in, here and there. But it should be the main three. Those main three. Seriously, we need to stop rotating commentators everywhere, every which places for different matches and stuff like that. I get why they do it, but just stop doing that. Just have a 2 or 3 man commentary booth. I'm sick of this. Just do a 2-man commentary booth, if that's the case. I don't know. Anyway, Nigel McGuinness, he comes out. So he announces the attendance being 81,035 people. So that was a pro wrestling attendance record. I don't know if that's an actual, it is a real record, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if that's actually like WWE, like they inflate their records. So I'm trying to figure out like where does this compare to like a bigger WrestleMania and stuff like that. But other than that, that's here nor there. Oh boy, this next match. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I should review this match or what. I'll be honest with you, I don't want to review this match, but I will mention here. The House of Black versus the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn for the World Trios Championships. So the House of Black, they come out with the Bray Wyatt tribute, which was very nice with the lantern. The House of Black gave a very awesome tribute. I thought it was great. So anyway, House of Black have been beating up the Acclaim. They've beat them twice, as a matter of fact, so you guys know where this is going already. So House of Black versus the Acclaimed, which consists of Max Caster, who is still employed, Anthony Bowens, who is also still employed and get off television, and quote-unquote badass Billy Gunn, who is also still employed and also get off my television. I do not care about these 3 men whatsoever, under no shape or form. I don't care if Max Caster carries the entire team on his fucking back. The team is fucking garbage. Get them off TV. Moving on now into the match here. So there was at one point where Julia Hart came in and she got, let's say, gently put down to the ground, because obviously you can't hit a woman in AEW. But Anthony Bowens hits Julia Hart with a leg drop. And let's just put this in the technical term possible. Julia Hart got hit right in her lower extremities. Let's just put it like that. I'm not going to explain anything like that. That did happen, everybody. I'm not making this up. So he actually did a leg drop right to that place, which I won't refuse to mention from this moment on. So Brody King beats up Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn then clotheslines both Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews. Then he hits the one and only move on Buddy Matthews for a 2 count. So the Acclaim, they go for the mic drop. Buddy Matthews makes the save. Anthony Bowens then elbows Buddy Matthews in the head, but he then gets sent into the corner by Malachi Black. And Brody King then hits a cannonball. He also Malachi hits stereo running knees. Max Caster makes the save. Brody King busts out a chain, which accidentally hits Malachi Black. Anthony Bowens hits him with the Famouser. Malachi Black then kicks Billy Gunn in the head with the Black Mass for a 2 count, but Billy Gunn kicks out of the Black Mass. So this is already getting a no rating, and I'm not even finished with the rest of the match. So the Acclaim win with the mic drop, and this match went 10 minutes. 10 minutes too long, and this shit sucked. No rating for this match at all. Kgabo also gave this a no rating for this match at all, because obviously he does not care about the Acclaim, and he thought this match sucked, and it was boring. So, there you go, everybody. That was the semi-main event of this show. Tony Khan, if the Acclaim is in another semi-main event on this pay-per-view, I'm going to stop watching AEW. Why were they in a semi-main event? I don't know. I don't know, everybody. Just don't put them in a semi-main event. Just don't do it. Adam Cole versus Maxwell Jacob Friedman for the AEW World Championship. This match was the third best thing on the entire show, as I mentioned earlier on. But I will say this. This was a very interesting match to get through. I obviously did not write down most of what happened in the match. Kgabo did, but I didn't. So I'm going to pretty much go cliff note, almost, big moment after big moment for this match. So anyway, World Championship title match. MJF comes out with the full devil entrance. He has a throne. He has worshipers. Adam Cole comes out in his normal entrance, which they both looked great in this main event. And this crowd was really behind this main event. So anyway, before the match begins, obviously they put their shirts on. They're clearly best friends. They want to do this in the right way. So they do some technical wrestling, I suppose. Maybe not Kgabo with his Young Bucks gymnastics and shenanigans and stuff. Maybe they were doing a little bit of chain wrestling here and there. But anyway, MJF does a strut and also a Rick Rude hip swivel for some apparent reason. I don't know why. Adam Cole then hits him, and then he hits his Adam Cole baby. MJF wants another handshake, and then he says sportsmanship, and the crowd, by the way, was chanting sportsmanship the entire time. So Adam Cole shakes his hand, but MJF pokes him in the eye. So there you go. You guys know where this is going. Adam Cole hits a Ushi-Goroshi for a 2 count. MJF gets pulled into the corner. Cole gets a chin lock on MJF. Taz and Nigel McGuinness were arguing on commentary. I somehow wrote that down because Nigel McGuinness had a good point about Adam Cole, having to literally fight against all odds. So Adam Cole beats up MJF for a bit. He shouts that he's better than MJF. Then he rips off his shirt. He's obviously upset. He's obviously into this match. MJF then gets serious. MJF makes a comeback. He beats Adam Cole's ass. He punches him in the corner. He bites Adam Cole's forehead for some apparent reason, like he's John Moxley. Adam Cole gets sent on the outside. MJF hits a suicide dive onto Adam Cole. And normally MJF does not do that, but when he does do that, it's pretty cool. So we're back inside the ring. MJF hits a double stomp on the arm. So he's now focusing on the arm. But then MJF goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. And then they do the rolling pinfall sequence as always. So 1 counts and 2 counts and then 1 counts and then 2 counts. You guys get the idea. MJF. Okay, so Adam Cole was heading off the ropes. No, MJF was heading off the ropes. So MJF is running. Adam Cole then tries to do a leapfrog, but MJF counters into a backbreaker for a 2 count, and they lay down selling. So then they head outside the ring. MJF throws Adam Cole on the outside. Adam Cole brainbusters him. Kgabo wrote down a suplex. I thought it was a brainbuster. It was a brainbuster onto the steel steps, and they're selling for that, and I thought the match was over. I thought MJF is going to retain the belt by countout. I legit thought MJF was going to retain the belt by countout and fuck over every single 81,000 of these goddamn people on this fucking show. I sincerely thought that was going to happen. So anyway, MJF gets back into the ring. Adam Cole tries for a Panama Sunrise, but MJF then collapses. But then they head back outside the ring. I think Adam Cole ran into the barricade at one point, which I did write in my notes. So anyway, MJF goes for something, but Adam Cole moves out of the way. So Adam Cole gets rid of the announce table. He pretty much takes apart the announce table. So Adam Cole and MJF are on top of the announce table. Adam Cole does a tombstone pile driver on MJF, landing on his knee and also on MJF landed on the top of his head. And Josh has complained in the past about the tombstone pile driver spot on the outside, so I think you guys know what I feel about that. So anyway, we're back into the ring. Adam Cole gets a 2 count on MJF. Adam Cole and MJF have a nearly 1-2 exchange. They go back and forth. Adam Cole hits a jumping knee. MJF hits a thrust. No, MJF hits a I don't know what he hit after the knee strike, but I doubt it was. Let's just say it was a kick or something like that. It was a kick because he did hit a super kick. Adam Cole then hit a running Canadian Destroyer. It was not a Panama Sunrise. Adam Cole hit a running Canadian Destroyer. MJF hits a super kick, and they both lay down selling. And then they both shout out double clothesline at the same exact time. They clothesline each other, middle of the ring. Bryce Remsburg, this fucking referee, he goes to make the cover. 1, 2, 3. And we have a double pin. And Bryce Remsburg was trying to make sure that he was trying to make sure he got this right. But Bryce Remsburg needs to get off my fucking television. That's number one. He's fucking awful as a referee. I cannot stand Bryce Remsburg, nor Rick Knox. Get these men the hell out of here. I hope they're fired by the end of this year. Get these men out of here. So anyway, Justin Roberts announces at first that this match is a draw. And obviously, the crowd was not happy. They were booing, as a matter of fact. So anyway, Adam Cole then grabs the mic from Justin Roberts. So he wants 5 more minutes with MJF. MJF actually then says no. 5 minutes is not enough. And then MJF yells at the top of his lungs. I'm not making any of this up. MJF says, we're going till we have a winner in fucking Wembley. That's exactly what he said. He dropped an F-bomb on live pay-per-view. So anyway, the match then gets restarted. Tony Khan confirms that this match is going to sudden death. This match is not going to end until we have a winner. Then there's a ref bump. Bryce Remsburg got hit with a forearm at one point. So they play catch with a chair. Does MJF and Adam Cole. They trying to do the Eddie Guerrero spot. So MJF puts the chair around his neck. Bryce Remsburg then wakes up. And he realizes what the hell is going on. Bryce Remsburg apparently is not stupid, but he acted fucking stupid in this goddamn match. So Adam Cole then gets hit with a heat seeker by MJF for a 2 count. The heat seeker is MJF's apron pile driver, by the way. So after a couple of minutes, Adam Cole hits a straight jacket German suplex on the apron to MJF. Then MJF gets hit with a Panama Sunrise on the floor. On the outside, knocked MJF on top of his head. So that's 3 times MJF got put on his damn head by another man. Then, back in the ring, Adam Cole goes for another Panama Sunrise. MJF was rising to his feet. Adam Cole goes for the Panama Sunrise. He destroys Bryce Remsburg with the Panama Sunrise. I'm not making this up. Bryce Remsburg took a Panama Sunrise. And I actually cheered when he took a Panama Sunrise because you all know how I feel about Bryce Remsburg. He's fucking awful. So anyway, Adam Cole does not believe it. He's like, what the fuck is going on? So anyway, after a couple of minutes, MJF takes down Adam Cole. MJF then pulls out the Dynamite Diamond ring out of his trunks, but he does not want to hit his best friend, so he puts it back in his trunks. Roderick Strong comes out of nowhere. He hits MJF with a low blow. Adam Cole, by the way, did not see it. And then Adam Cole realizes what's going on. So he hits the Panama Sunrise. Then he hits the last shot on MJF. And Bryce Remsburg is literally waking up because he got hit with a Panama Sunrise that apparently could have broken his goddamn neck. So Bryce Remsburg counts in the slowest way I have ever seen a referee count in the history of civilization. This man went 1, 2. It took Bryce Remsburg 30 seconds to make another near fall. And then it went, and then MJF kicked out. What was the whole point of that near fall? Bryce Remsburg it took forever to count the 3. It does not take a normal human being for you to count 3. Like, seriously, for a referee, it does not take you that long. So anyway, Adam Cole then decides, hey, I may hit MJF with the AEW World Championship. So Roderick Strong, by the way, then gets the AEW World Championship, not Adam Cole. Adam Cole thinks about hitting MJF with the belt, but Adam Cole throws it away. Roderick Strong walks away, obviously disappointed. MJF then hits an inside cradle for the win on Adam Cole at 29 minutes. That's exactly how I timed it. And MJF retains the world title. No surprise to everyone here. But hold on, everybody. There's still more. So Adam Cole is obviously upset. MJF tries to reconcile with Adam Cole. He says, MJF says, hey, we did it. Like, we did it. We main evented this show. Like, we're still tag team champions. Like, and then MJF realizes what's going on. He sees the AEW World Championship, and then MJF changes his mind. He gets angry at Adam Cole. He wants Adam Cole to hit him with the AEW World Championship, and he says, here, fucking take my title already. Why don't you? Fuck off. This was about the championship the whole fucking time. So anyway, MJF turns his back on Adam Cole. Adam Cole thinks about hitting the championship. Roderick Strong is yelling at the top of his lungs, hit him with the title. I'm your fucking best friend. That's not what he said, but I put it like that. So Adam Cole throws away the championship. MJF then turns around and they both hug it out. No attacks on Roderick Strong or anything like that. So anyway, happy ending for this match. That's the main event of AEW All In 2023. And they will be back at All In for 2024 in London, which we will review here on Life's Opening Radio Rope Break. So anyway, this match, I'm going to give this a 6.5, and Logic, I'll give it a 5, because there was not a lot of storytelling in this match. I feel like this could have been better, but instead there was 2 ref bumps, 4 Panama Sunrises, including the 4 other times that MJF got dropped on his goddamn head, could have broken his damn neck. So then there was 2 last shots, and then literally 4 slow near falls. Like seriously, there was just so much that happened in this main event that not a lot of people are really going to talk about this main event, except for the fact that it main evented this big time show here at Wembley Stadium. But other than that, that was the main event, everybody, and that is the rest of the AEW All In 2023 review. Kgabo thought that this match was pretty good as well. He also gave this a 7, and Logic, he gave it a 5 as well. And he thought it was a pretty solid main event, and we're on the same token as, everything else. All right, everybody, that was the AEW All In 2023 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Kgabo has some misfunctions with his laptop and his computer and stuff like that, but hopefully this review does more than enough justice, because obviously we thought All In was a very solid pay-per-view. Rating for this show, I gave it a 6.5, and Logic, I gave it a 3. Kgabo also gave it a 6.5, and he also gave it a 5 for Logic as well. This was a very interesting show. I'm glad they did a stadium show, did AEW, but once again, on the same token, there were a couple of things that did not need to be on the show, a couple of booking mishaps, that's the best way I can put it, on this show, and I just feel like this show could have been actually a little bit more better. A lot of people had high expectations for this show, and I did as well, but not to the point where I wanted this show to be a 9 out of 10 show. I did not want this show to be like a WrestleMania type show, but it did have their own different, unique style of stadium shows, which I do appreciate, and I do hope that AEW does more stadium shows from now on, instead of all of these in-house stadium shows. I do feel like they can do more stadium shows. They like for Full Gear, not like that, but maybe for All Out down the line, then they can do stadium shows and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with them doing another stadium show, considering in Wembley in 2024 for All In, it will be back at Wembley Stadium. So there you go, everybody. So in London, once again for 2024, All In 2024 in London, and we will talk about that when we get there, right here on Life's Opening Radio Rope Break. I am obviously the assistant co-host of this show, and on behalf of the main host of Life's Opening Radio Rope Break, Kgabo, and on behalf of our guest co-host, which we wish him well in his condition right now. Hopefully he's okay. But ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Josh Jenkins, and hopefully I will be here for Payback. Hopefully I am not tied up to a chair, because the card for Payback looks completely uninteresting. And honestly, I want nothing to do with it. And Kgabo probably feels the same way. So anyway, on behalf of Kgabo and Josh Jenkins, I'm the assistant co-host of the Life's Opening Radio Rope Break. I'm Ben Charles. We'll see you guys next week for Payback, if necessary, and we'll see you all for All Out. Until then, so long, everybody.